Live. 3, 2, 1. Cha-cha-chow. John, you are live. Talk us into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all of the ages, welcome to ARMTV Talks Live Call-In Show number 38. It's number 38, people. Get on the roll. Get with it, everybody. We are here with my two esteemed colleagues, not one, but two esteemed colleagues. Of course, the man, the myth, the legend, my compadre, Gary Roberts, coming live from a hotel in an undisclosed location. Number two on our list, coming from the wonderful country of Australia, the one and only Mr. Ready Bang! Aussie.
Hey! Yes, always excited to come on these shows, and I've got a patriot with me in the chat, and I'm sure you'll introduce him in a minute. But of course, everyone in the chat excited to have a chat with you, and I think, Uncle John, I am more pumped than you are for ARMWARS reality check. So excited for you, my man.
I'm so ready. Thank you, brother. And our fourth man who needs to unmute his microphone as soon as humanly possible. The one, the only, who's given me a hell of a day today, Ryan Blue Bowen.
How are we, lads? What's going on?
Great.
Man, I had more fun with your little hype reel then than I've had on any other hype reel. I love the material you gave me in that TikTok video was amazing. I loved it.
I was
hey. Can we talk about that for a second? Where did you get the music?
I'm subscribed to a service called Envato. But then I build it. That was like 3 tracks built together, and I threw in some sound effects as well. And so for me, the music is the first thing I get right, and then from there, I build the images into the music.
Making us all look bad, Ryan.
I thought number one DJ in Australia. You heard it here first. Ryan Bowen, number one DJ in Australia.
I'll never be able to keep up with DJ Hot Girl from Poland that Igor uses. I don't think I'll ever beat her.
Not possible.
So, okay, I feel bad because there's 2 things that I really want to talk about. Obviously, this is a big night for Uncle John. I want to talk about that, but I invited Ryan on, who can also talk about the ARMWARS and stuff. But right now, I'm so excited about this John Brzenk stuff. I can't wait to talk about it. So I want to talk about it, but I want to tease that towards the second half, because Uncle John, you told me you had to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm trying to get ahead of the jet lag a little bit.
So you're getting on an airplane.
Yeah, tomorrow, 2:30 Atlantic time.
So you're gonna miss the good shit.
Yep, probably. Yeah. But I get some really good shit out of it too.
Okay, so so ARMWARS is coming up.
We can wait off, Gary. We don't need to go for the John stuff for sure. But David Bradford, man. Uncle John, I want to say that Uncle John is delivering David Bradford the biggest gift of his arm wrestling career so far. Without.
Oh, we just lost it.
Yeah, I got a phone call. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
You're back.
Without Uncle John, no one knows who David Bradford is. So David Bradford's getting a free ride from Uncle John, and I hope that he's ready for a fight, because I think Uncle John's bringing in the heat.
Yeah, I didn't know who this guy was.
Well, here's the deal. It's an interesting thing to find out and to realize. I mean, it's not really a surprise, but you tend to overestimate and think that the guys who are in your immediate vicinity are like gods, right? So the best guy on the smallest island is the god of that island, right? Yeah. The UK is the exact same. They think that David Bradford is a god. So when somebody from North America or Australia says, I've never heard of David Bradford, they're like, oh my, clutching their pearls and like in shock.
Clutching pearls.
Yeah, but here's the deal. This, in my opinion, this is a new avenue that arm wrestlers have, right? I have tried very hard over the last several months to create storyline with David and to bring him in to make people understand not only who I am, because I already had kind of a character that's been built up, but to try to understand who David was as well. Because look, people will pay to see you shut people up, and people will pay to see you get shut up. Okay. And if you don't have an opponent who can do one of those two things, you might be in trouble. Right. So I really wanted, that was my main goal with this was to give, because Neil is giving me an opportunity, and I wanted to give Neil back story, something that people could grab onto. And I
invested in the match.
I invested a lot in the match, and I think it's already come to fruition with the fact that David Bradford and mine's names are up there with guys who have won world titles, who have been pro level for a long time. And guess who's officially sold out of Steak? Me and David Bradford. Who else is sold out on Steak Kings? Nobody on ARMWARS is sold out on Steak Kings. Okay?
That's the biggest. That's the biggest proof right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go.
Is it really bad that I'm more excited about your match than any of the other?
That's the best. That's the best. That means I have done my job.
Invested in it. You're personally invested, Gary, because you spend every week, you talk to Uncle John frequently all the time. So I'm heavily invested in it because I feel, yes, I've been lucky enough to have Alex Kadech on my show, and I've had RVJ on the show and so on, and Neil on the show. But I feel that Uncle John's my friend. Please don't shake your head and say no to everyone, Uncle John, because I've got a bromance, you know. But yeah, so I like even off camera, I messaged Uncle John either this morning or yesterday. I was like, man, I'm so pumped. I'm so excited for your match. And and it'll show, when I do the commentary and everything. Because when you're personally invested in something, of course we're going to be more
that's
excited.
Right. Well, and it has to be said that I was more excited about that original four-way with Derek, Chance, and I was devastated.
When you know someone in the game, you turn up and you can't look away. That's just the nature of the beast. And no matter what the sport, if you know someone, you want to be there and you want to watch it. So I actually I haven't staked Uncle John on this one, but I haven't staked Bradford. And that's only because I don't know the arm wrestlers as an arm wrestlers. But I can tell you right now, I have such a personal interest in hoping that Uncle John wins. I'm like, come on. Like, out of all the matches on there, that's the one I'm actually barracking hardest for, is I want to see Uncle John wreck this match up and just take this into the next level in terms of branding and storyline and go on from there.
Well, this is a thing.
Made an effort as well. If you look at everyone else's staking, it's a photo of the block, stake for me, and then that's it. Uncle John, we have a passion of wrestling, so Uncle John's making promo videos and things like that. And now he's, anytime someone messages Uncle John, it's hashtag TikTok and things like that. So that's why you've sold out. Uncle John gets and understands the game, and he's going to reap his rewards. And I hope it comes in tenfold. It's going to be unreal.
Look, I just want to make something very clear to anyone who's in an arm wrestler who is new, and they're like, because I know how it feels when you're like, you're nobody and you're nothing, and you're just like, you look at guys, like Ryan or whoever, and you're like, how do I get to that level? Look, I was there 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I'd already won a nationals. I had podiumed at multiple nationals. I could arm wrestle, but nobody cared who I was, right? Nobody really knew. Like, a small contingent of Canadians knew, oh yeah, John's got a pretty good left hand. A couple people in Minnesota, but it wasn't until I created Uncle John and the character of Uncle John that I started having any chance at any of these types of opportunities. And I have no problem saying, without my platform and without my character, there's really no reason for Uncle John to be there. Right?
Because Uncle John, will you quit being an asshole?
No, that's what I honestly believe.
No, listen, I refuse to believe that you are a character. You are you. I believe you are you. Jonathan Thompson and Uncle John are the same person, and stop wrecking my fantasy. Stop it.
Look, Uncle John has a little bit of the best and the worst of all of us in it. And that's what makes Uncle John work, right? What you're going to see at ARMWARS is not really what you've seen so far, right? This will be a little bit of a new characterization. This will be something that, if it goes the way I have it planned on going, is going to shock a few people. I'm actually a little bit worried for my parents and my in-laws to watch it. Like, where can I watch it? Where can I watch it? And I'm like, guys, I'm just telling you now that it might be a little different.
Don't disappoint.
A little different.
Man, I'm so
Don't get
excited
me
to see
hyped
what
up, bro.
Look,
Don't
I'm
get me
telling
hyped. You better deliver.
I am telling you that look, as far as David Bradford and I go, I'm very confident right now. I feel great mentally. The only thing I'm worried about is getting there. That is the only thing I'm worried about. My physicality is right there. We had the final day of just some band work, just a little blood flow. Everything is perfect. Everything is on point. Weight is perfect. I woke up at 208 this morning. I'm right exactly where I need to be. The only thing we don't know is David Bradford's power level, right? I'm very confident that I have a better understanding of the table than he does, about positioning, about when to do things and how to do things at the right time in the right place. The only question is power. And with that confidence is going to come a lot of extras for everybody watching. Okay. If I can do what I think I can do, you're going to see some serious shit.
Uncle John,
Hey! Yes, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
Uncle John, I got to ask, on the scale of hero to villain, are you slightly villain side? Is that where I'm seeing you going?
He's turning heel. He's turning heel.
Look, there might be a hashtag evil Uncle John coming up very, very soon.
I love it.
Chair shot happening. There's a chair shot.
No,
heel
at
turn.
the end of the day, that's the thing, is you have to find the exact right balance for your own personality and the way the arm wrestling fans of the world perceive you. I mean, I've got the sliding scale too. There's the I can play to the delusional card and play that card really well. That works wonderfully well for getting people interested in watching the match. I'm happy. Look, but let me be that crazy delusional idiot that thinks he can do anything. It's fine, but it gets people watching at the end of the day. So I love it. I love all this stuff. I think it's amazing the job you've done, and I can't wait to see what happens.
And it begs the question. I have a match coming up in a few weeks with Ryan Cronin, and I've done a terrible job promoting it. Like you guys are doing so well, but I've been so busy with these other things. Like I'm getting people going, hey, does this match still on? Like I haven't talked about it. I'm like, yeah, we're still arm wrestling, but I haven't like promoted it. I feel terrible.
I get on it, man. I'm telling you, and everybody out there, and Ryan, you've been saying this for a long time too. Arm wrestling is becoming more than just arm wrestling, right? People are like, how do we make arm wrestling more viewer friendly? Stop being a stupid idiot at the table and you're just like, oh, hello, sir. How are you doing?
I hate that.
Oh, thank you for no, tell that guy to fuck off to his face.
Don't give me excited.
Oh man. Okay,
so
sorry, go, Gary.
No, you go.
I wanted to say, I'm going to say something. I agree. When Lachlan Adair and I signed this match in an agreement together, we said to each other, look, we're mates, we're good friends. You're the best man at my wedding, but from this moment forward, you're my fucking enemy, and I'm going to be an absolute prick to you. Just be aware. And I've had to tell my wife, my mum, that what you see when I face Lachlan is going to shock you. I'm not going to be nice.
Right.
I'm not going to be nice.
Look, and I want to be very clear that this blending of characterization in arm wrestling is in no way, I refuse to accept anyone who tells me that it cheapens the sport or it ruins the sport. Go to hell. There's nothing to ruin. We need to branch out. We need to do more. We need characters. That's what sells. That's what sells.
I've come into the sport of arm wrestling without pulling anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done zero arm wrestling.
It
is character. Down. It is all about selling. I've been screaming from it ever since I stepped into this sport. I'm 100% waving that flag with you. It's cool. I'm all for sportsmanship and things like that. But do that off the table and afterwards when you're having a laugh and going, oh, man, you killed me first round. But when the cameras are on and it's rolling, shake the table, slap the mat, do whatever, point at I'm coming after you. And yeah, it's the best.
Ozzy,
I want to tell you.
Hold on, Ryan. Hold that thought.
Okay,
Ozzy, with no disrespect, I want to say that because of that, the food chain hierarchy of this little podcast here is I'm 100% confident that I could beat you as easily as Uncle John could beat me, as easily as Ryan Bowen
See,
can
already
beat
I'm
Uncle
interested
John.
now. Already I'm interested because I want to see it. Put it together.
Yes. Book it.
100% confidence there.
No, that's
Oh,
cool. But I
man.
just, you know,
I
as I look through the screen and, you know, look at those, they look like arms, but only smaller, Gary. They're just, yeah, that's cool. Maybe just
I wanted
zoom
to
in a
say,
little.
guys,
We'll Photoshop it.
Devin Larratt is the most watched arm wrestler in the history of our sport, I think. And especially of current times, anything that man touches turns to gold in terms of viewership. And when you ask yourself the question why, it's not only his personality and his character and his ability to trash talk, but he brings it to the table as well. He doesn't just clinically arm wrestle. He creates storyline in the way he moves. When I had aspirations of making it to the WAL, I honestly said to myself, I have to arm wrestle, not for the victory, but for the moment of make it glorious. And I looked towards Devin Larratt and I said, all right, look at how he creates drama in his matches. He argues with refs. He pushes the limits in breaking rules. He gets under the skin of his opponents. And then he has an absolute barnstorm, a defensive match where he brings it back from the death. I was an offensive-based arm wrestler when I started purely. I was all about go for the hit and the kill. And I never invested in defensive arm wrestling until I had aspirations of following the footsteps of Devin Larratt's WAL path. And I'm like, all right, I have to be a defensive arm wrestler because they get more airtime. And that's the truth of it.
Okay, Ryan, when I watched that match of you on wall and you're in a losing position and you're like grinding it out, could you brought him back faster? Was that partly show?
No, I could have brought it back faster. Absolutely.
Yeah. For the ratings.
If I have an unbreakable position, I will let you just grind yourself into the dirt, and I'll talk to you as you're grinding yourself into the dirt, and I'll whisper in your ear, say, "Come on, I thought you had more than this. Aren't you going to pin yourself?" All this kind of stuff.
Yes. And that's exactly right.
Yes.
I mean, you go back to the UFC. They had a very cool concept, but it wasn't until they had the reality show of the Ultimate Fighter where people got invested in the characters, and then it became the most popular sport in the world. And now it's the same. If you're just going to grapple on the ground and not do much, you're not getting booked again. But if you're hanging and banging and having huge battles, you're getting booked at the next UFC. So if you come in and either pin someone really quick, I'm the same. It's no good for you. Everyone wants to see battles. We want to see, especially people that don't like Ryan, they want to see him almost get pinned. And they're screaming at the TV, fucking pin him! Pin him! And then there's people like me that are cheer for Ryan and just watching Ryan come back from the depths of hell and overturning and get the pin, and then I'm going, yes! And the internet explodes, and then you want to watch it all again. That's the way arm wrestling needs to move forward.
Look, the guys who love you and the guys who hate you pay the same amount of money to watch the show. That's it.
I would like to tease two things. Ozzy, I can't be as noisy as you or I'll get kicked out of my hotel here. I feel your energy. I feel it. And I love that we're kind of tying in with all this. The new way to master arm wrestling is going to tie in to all this crazy shit that's happening with John Brzenk a little bit later. So don't go anywhere because Ryan Bowen is going to give us the complete breakdown.
Hey, let me hit it.
While baby Uncle John is going nappy nap time.
Hey, how do you think you get this massive, huh? Cooper Maxwell, $4.99 says Uncle John will set his sails tomorrow towards greatness. Maximum effort. Thank you, Cooper. You're the man. Matt Tickle My Limits Larratt says, give us an Uncle John double bicep flex. Can't wait to see you perform. Well, for $4.99, you get the whole show, lady.
I don't have any shadows there like you.
Keep on pumping, Gary. That's all. That's all you got to do.
I would also like to take this opportunity to thank my lovely Patreon members who have made this possible. We have Travis Riggs, our newest member. Thank you, sir. Pat Hunt, Cooper Maxwell, Ryan Espy. Can you believe Ryan Espy's on board? Some other
Hey,
Ryan is missing.
I just got a new Patreon member too, Kazi McNamara, who's in the chat right now. Right on.
Oh my God, you're kicking my ass. Santiago Maciel, Artem Top Roll, Callum Sidebottom, Billy Ortegas, Bud Emmer, Uncle John Arm Wrestling Show, that guy, Eric McAtee, and Mizell Jador. And then our first, he will always be our first. Here's what you do. I messaged Jordan Champ. I said, you're my first ever Patreon member. So the guy can never cancel.
Right.
If he wants to be
the
the first.
The guilt will be immense.
Like, Jordan, you can never leave me.
You'll get called out.
Thank you, everyone. You've all made it possible for us to do this. And which is another reason why we have Ryan Bowen here, the master of being a YouTuber creator in arm wrestling, is going to give us a breakdown of all this crazy shit, like I said, with John Brzenk. Okay, so I would like to know, we've talked about your match with David Bradford. Do we know any of the logistical things? Of course, I could go to the man himself, Neil Pickup, but
yeah, I know some of the logistics.
What are some of the logistics? So I filmed Arnold's many years. We had like 1 hour on the table Friday, 1 hour on the table Saturday, the main stage. Is this clearly, if you with that many super matches, you can't be on a main stage all day. So is it like,
right? Does
he have his own booth?
What I do know, we have a stage. I don't know if it's like the main stage. I don't really know how the whole NEC place is set up, but we're on a stage. We're on the same stage, supposedly, that like the strong man, some of the, not the Giants live stuff, but the regular powerlifting guys, and like it's kind of, I think it's kind of similar to what has been done in Columbus. That's what I'm getting the feeling of. But we have 2 days of exciting arm wrestling action, and so for people in the United States, it's going to be early. It's going to start super duper early because it's like, I think the first matches are at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning UK time.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that as an Aussie. I can finally not be up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like 7 p.m. for Ryan and I. It's the best.
Nice.
So for live broadcasting, for me to do my live commentary, for Ozzy to do his live commentary, for Ryan Bowen to his live commentary of the 14 live commentary shows, will there be footage?
Well, here's all I know.
That,
what I know about the live streams at this point is that Neil is going to make an attempt to live stream. We are unaware at this time if it's going to work or not.
With that many content creators there, if you guys don't get a live stream up, I gotta kick your asses. So
I will be happy. I will be happy to try. But then I
can only imagine, unless mobile data is so bad. But from what I've heard, Neil's just gonna put his phone up, essentially put it on a tripod, get his phone going, whatnot. So and then the high end produced will come out an hour or so later with Neil's commentary on it. So that will be killer stuff that'll come out on Neil's Supernatural Strength channel. But there should be a mobile phone style feed, which is all we need. Which is all we need to see it live. And
and what I've been told so far is that I'm allowed to film pretty much anything I want except for the matches.
That's fair enough.
Okay.
Which makes sense. Sense. I mean, to me, that makes sense.
Okay.
This one.
Okay. I have a little caveat to that. Okay. This is a message to Neil. In MGM Grand Las Vegas Arm Wars, he shut me down from filming, but now here we are like 15 years later. He like wouldn't care if I shared the footage. It's like there should be a little clause like 15 years later, can we share the footage? Because I would have had some cool shit, right?
Yeah.
Some alternating scenes, perspectives, and moments.
Well, it's just like you though, right? Because like when you're doing your ruler of the nation stuff or your special tournaments, you want that for yourself right away, right?
Yeah,
I think if you talk to Neil and you're like, hey, I want to do a special review of the ARMWARS stuff a month after it comes out, he's probably going to say, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I had another question.
I think I think when it comes to capturing footage like that, like it's sometimes difficult to give people the vision that you've got in your mind, and they might jump to a conclusion that's incorrect and think that you're just trying to repost the match. But if you, I would always encourage film stuff from a totally unique perspective, behind the scenes, whatever, and then present privately to Neil or someone like that. Look, here's the angle that I see that I was going to do it, and he might go, "Oh man, that's freaking such a good compliment to the event. Thank you so much," and actually love it. And so it's a lot easier to show somebody your vision as opposed to try to explain it to them in advance, I reckon.
Yeah. And by the way, Neil has showed me a few things of what he's trying to do with the people he's hired to actually film this for, like because the ultimate goal, I don't know if I say too much, but ARMWARS in the past was broadcast on TV, right?
Yeah.
So this is moving towards not just clips on the internet, but like a fully fleshed out show. And the idea,
on the internet or on TV?
I don't know. I don't know the specifics, but the ideas he's told me about and has shown me, and the footage, like some of the test stuff, fantastic. It's going to be something that's never, if it works out the way he's saying, never been done before.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So Brad Cook put on Facebook that he was actually approached by Neil. Did you read any of that?
I heard about it. I talked to them both.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool to see what that vision would have been. So you're saying he moved on to a completely separate entity and has some cool.
I don't know the full background, but I know that, Brad Cook was probably integral in answering some of Neil's early questions, because Brad Cook is, a phenom when it comes to the editing and whatnot. Phenomenal. And then I think that Neil has found, the type of people that can enact his vision. But as far as I know, I don't think Brad Cook is the guy doing it, but it's had some of his input in there possibly.
I would like to add Ryan Bowen. While I was doing my research this evening, I watched a John Brzenk clip with yourself, and he said, when he wants to get some behind the scenes, he likes the Gary Roberts style. But then he said, but even earlier, pulling John Savan Matosian. And I would like to just, for the record, correct that Savan Matosian and myself found the sport on the exact same weekend. Two different events in California. He was in NorCal at a Bell Collins event. I was in SoCal at a Victorville event, Randy Sampius. So exact same day, people, pulling John and ARMTV discovered.
Born.
And I guess this can potentially be the segue over to John's stuff. John's actually got a side of him that I think most people might be a little bit surprised to discover. And in terms of content creation, John, we've seen that John has launched his channel quite enthusiastically, and he's getting right into it. But there's a side of John where he actually really enjoys the high-end editing, the production value. He can dream. He really enjoys dreaming up like feature-length stuff. So John's excited to potentially work and go down the path of not just clips here and there, but proper stuff. So watch this space and see where he goes.
Okay, hold on. You just I wanted to
ease into this stuff.
I wanted to nurture this moment here. Just baby step it a little. Uncle John, we understand you've got some.
I got 28 minutes. I got 28 minutes to tell me.
I understand you got some sleeping to do. Okay, just real quickly. Okay. I just want to go back a little ways because you are, man, I didn't believe it.
Subscriber. I'm the #1 subscriber. We're talking about #1 Patreon for you, Gary. I'm sub 1 for John.
Yeah.
I got the screenshot.
I know you didn't. No way.
I will say that Ryan Bowen, for anyone in the great wars of the delusional Ryan Bowen, I will always be on Ryan's side, because realistically, there's been a lot of people who have, done a lot for me, right? Devin has done a lot just in getting my name out there. But Ryan Bowen consistently has helped me basically with very little return for ever the day I started doing this. So thank you, Ryan, and continues today because you gave me that awesome promo.
Yeah. I think there's a bunch of people in the sport that clearly love what they do, and those people quickly gravitate toward each other and naturally want to help each other all grow. So it's very easy for me to do that with people like yourselves, everyone on this chat. So it just comes second nature. I mean, yeah, and I'm fortunate enough to have amazing content to be able to create the fact that the sport is growing. There's more to talk about now than ever before. Like Jake, you mentioned before, you haven't been able to pull yet. You've become an enormous brand in the world of arm wrestling. So it's an awesome time, I reckon, for content creators. Especially.
So fine, Ozzy, save your first time for Gary Roberts. We'll get you to the States. We'll try to organize a trip where you travel all the way across the world to get bitch slapped.
It's got to happen. Australia versus North America. I'm in 100%.
Dude, we could totally.
Let's just say I would be very embarrassed to lose to someone that sits down while they piss. So.
Hey, only because I splatter so much when I stand. All right.
But in saying that, I would be happy, even though I wouldn't lose. I would be happy to lose to Gary Roberts because, as Uncle John was saying, because Ryan's been a huge help for me. But Gary Roberts, you were a huge help for the Aussie Arm Wrestler brand while we're kissing each other's pockets, for allowing me to come on the New Year's Eve stream and just take over.
Hey, well, you made it.
You
helped make that night. There's 43 thumbs up. Come on, guys.
Nice.
Hook it up. Is there any super chats? We
do have 2 super chats. Sap the Bee. Well, here's a couple good questions we can talk about, actually. Sap the Bee, 299 says, did you guys see the RVJ versus John YouTube comment war? All I've seen is John's reply in which he said, hey, I'm not calling everybody out. I'm just taking offers. But I haven't heard about the war.
Yeah,
well, we know that RVJ is a very sensitive man, and he can, and it's easy to get him upset. But I don't think RVJ was upset. I saw RVJ's little video where he kind of alluded to John just kind of being overexcited and calling out too many people at once and saying, "Hey, slow down, old man," kind of thing. And then, as you said, John was just like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm not calling out anyone. People bring matches to me with offers, and I say, sure, I'll do that. I happily would pull anyone." So John's unafraid to pull anyone. He will pull anyone if the conditions are right. And the names that John has mentioned, with obviously Dimitri Kachan this weekend and Paul Lynn and RVJ. RVJ was proposed actually by RVJ's buddy, I think. Robert Gould rang John and said, "I got some cash to put on the line for you and RVJ. Would you be interested?" And he said, "Sure thing." And then it's the same thing with Hadzimurad Zaloyev from Engen Terzi.
I loved RVJ's kind of like, as a runner, I treat hurdles like one at a time. And that he thought John was like anticipating the hurdles, and that's when you like miss one. And I thought that was a great perspective. And one of the reasons, was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Ryan, because I was like, with John being so new, like if there's anybody that has all the right stuff to just hit this out of the park, like just crush this whole YouTube content creator, I was like, it's John Brzenk, right? But is there a strategy? Is there a way to apply the recipe where it is the perfect drink of success versus like just, you know what I mean? So I wanted to like pick Mr. Bowen's brain a little bit on.
Well, I'll give you. Let me give you the kind of the overview version of John's entry into YouTube as I know it. I'm sure there's more to it, but this is as I know it. In 2018, when I met John, I was right into the enthusiasm of YouTube, and I expressed to him, I said, "John, if you were to do this, you would have such success because every word you say, people want to know your opinion about everything. You're more qualified than anyone to give perspective on the top guys." and we'd all listen. And John wasn't so keen. But as the years went by,
Okay, but when you were talking to him, what was your YouTube status? What were
my
you?
YouTube status, I think I just cracked 10K followers or 10K subs, and I was averaging maybe 1,000 views a video or something like that at best. I was largely unheard of still. As an arm wrestler and as a commentator on the sport, I was fumbling my way through it, but I can see and recognize the future potential in the YouTube space for John in particular. And John was not so keen on being the camera in front of the camera. He was never that personality. But interestingly, over the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen such a shift in the way that the sport is presented, and we have so much more content now on YouTube that, and John has seen enough other people have pretty much instant success just being themselves. People like Matt Mask, as a great example, Devin Larratt, obviously a great example, and John just thought, all right, I'm going to dip my toe in, and we're gonna see what happens. And I said to John, look, if you need to,
Wait. In 2018, he said that.
No. 2018, he dipped his toe into it by coming on to a show with me once a week for 6 months.
Yeah. I watched those.
6 months, and it was like he enjoyed it, but he didn't think he could have the time nor inclination, nor did he think the reward would be there if he was to do it on his own channel. He didn't believe in the reward, the monetary reward.
When he came on your show, that was 2018. That was like 3 years ago already.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember watching all those shows, and I was like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah. It was a big moment. But now that there's been enough demonstrable money come out of people's YouTube channels that he's gone, okay, like the most recent, if you remember, just 3 months ago when John and I were doing a little weekly podcast on my channel again, I was able to pay John $300 per show. And John was like, you can, your channel can afford this? And I'm like, yeah, John, your presence on this show brings in super chats, and we get averages 15,000 views, and yeah, I can afford to give you $300. And he was like, oh man, okay. And little seeds like that were being planted constantly. And then he's jumped in. He's like, someone local to him was I think it was just his local training crew was saying, John, you got to do it. You got to do the YouTube channel. You got to do the YouTube channel. And he said, all right, I'm going to do it. And he reached out to me and said, all right, Ryan, how do I do this properly? How do I get it all set up? And we got it all set up. And he said, where do we go for content and structure? And I said, look, there's so much going on in the sport right now. You've got the biggest thing you could answer right now is your opinion on Dave Chafee and Levan. That was when he was entering, was straight up the Chafee-Levan conversation, which is where he opened. But then I said, you've got ARMWARS coming up, you've got so much talking points, but then you can always fall back on a story about anything you ever did, any personality you ever met, any bite-sized story ever that you've got to share with us. Like, just have a couple of beers and stick the camera in front of you and talk to the camera like it's an arm wrestler being nostalgic and listening to a story about you and Gary Goodridge or whatever.
Can I chime in for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you guys remember Waxahachie, where he came and he arm wrestled Corey West, like unplanned.
Yeah.
You guys remember that, right?
Yes.
I did the video, The True Status of John Brzenk. It has 233,000 views. And I swear to God, I was convinced, man. I was convinced. Right away, he said, if I arm wrestle anyone, I don't want it to be on camera.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want it to be on camera.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be on camera. He said, I'm in no shape. I like, Igor keeps bugging me, but I don't think so, blah, blah, blah. I swear to God. Do you know, John Brzenk and I drove back to the airport together, and we were talking about his Instagram account or some social media account that has like 20,000 followers. And he's like, my life is so boring. I have nothing to share. And I begged John, I said, please just post like that you're having coffee or something. People would eat it up. He goes, that's all I do is drink a beer or have coffee. I was like, oh my God, you're killing me. I was like, you have such potential.
Yeah.
And I swear I left that trip. I put out The True Status of John Brzenk. I thought I wasn't trying to be clickbaity. I was trying to say, hey, I think our hopes of John being back are donezo. And it is shocking to me when I click on John Brzenk's YouTube channel,
He's released so many videos.
Yeah.
and then I am shocked. I can't believe what has happened.
Yeah. Well, the real transformation has been the fact
Money
that dollars.
talks.
Money talks, and it talks substantially enough. Like I said, enough people have been able to demonstrate to him. Like I said, when I was able to pay him what I was paying him, and then people like Matt Mask within a month was earning significant dollars, and there was just enough evidence around him that he's thought, okay, look, I'll give it a try. I'll tell you right now, I'm not. It's obviously personal information, but I'll tell you right now, he is crushing it. John Brzenk is crushing YouTube when it comes to revenue.
What do you mean? It's not secret.
I was watching one of his live streams and people were dropping like $100 super chats.
Yeah, his first super chat session, he got $550 in his first one.
So
deserves it though. Deserves it. I'm happy. I'm
100%.
rapt for him. I love it.
100%. I think he should be paid the highest in any other sport. If he had done what he did, he'd have an enormous back end career in media or anything. So I hope he quickly becomes the highest paid arm wrestler in the world. I really do, and I think he has the potential to do it.
So here, when we think John Brzenk's career is over and he's just arm wrestling for fun, there's a legitimate chance that he could make more money from YouTube going forward than like maybe he ever made in the past. Is that what we're talking here?
Real. Like I said, I'm not going to share anything. I know John's numbers exactly, but like I said, he's crushing it, and he's on a very steep trajectory upwards.
Good.
And yeah, he could make more. And the good thing is John gets to be in control. And so one thing about being the GOAT is you can't help but feel like, and this is probably why when you filmed with him and put that true status out, where he made the comments that he doesn't want cameras, was because when you're the GOAT, people use you as a credibility grab, and they would snap film him when he's been pulling a bunch of people, get a pin on John or something, and John was kind of sick of that, I guess. And as the GOAT, it's everyone wants the little piece of that pie. And so with John now controlling the story through his own YouTube channel, he gets to put the full context out of what he's doing in every pull that he does. And that protects his legacy and doesn't let anyone kind of take cheap shots at it. So he feels comfortable pulling in on the camera again because he's the man who's in control of the live stream that's filming it. And he's just having fun now because he's realizing, wow, look at this. I can actually get paid more now than I ever was before. And I don't have to get a promoter to pay me. YouTube's going to pay me. And it's already happening. So he's having fun again, which is the most important thing. And for us as the community of arm wrestling fans, John having fun on the table is a massively good thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a question. He posted a video that was clearly B-roll and he did a voiceover. How did John Brzenk learn how to do that? Did someone do that for him?
Well, yeah, of course he asked me how to do it.
So
yeah, I think was it a Richard Lupke's one, or what was it?
It was like he was showing his house and he was talking about its plans, and it was like,
no. Well, yeah, that one he's done all by himself, but he.
No,
yeah,
but it was a second voiceover. It wasn't recorded at the same time.
Okay, yeah, we had.
With the boat. He was on the boat. He was on the boat.
4 days ago. 4 days ago, we had that lesson on how to voice over, and I downloaded for him some Richard Lupke's footage and edited it together for him and said, here you go. Now you can practice talk over this and tell us all you know about Richard as you watch it. So yeah, John's, like I said, John's actually got a side to him that he's really interested in the high-end production. He wants, he's actually a fan. He's quite quirky and funny too. Wait till that side of him comes out. Like, he enjoys watching Juji Mufu kick flamingos, for instance. He finds that funny. So I wouldn't be surprised if John Brzenk did something really random and that you'd be like, what the hell was that, John? But that's the side of John that I think people might be surprised to see that exists.
Could you imagine if John started doing like characters? That would be amazing.
The thing,
he could get his brother on the channel. Bill was a good puller back in the day. Yeah. So John could be the champion of YouTube for the next 25 years, just talking like Ryan saying before, rehashing all the stories. Like I remember when Ryan and I were talking, it's like John's on YouTube, check it out. And I was like, oh man, I've got like 1,000 ideas that John could do and things like that. Yeah, he's so much. And I'm looking forward to it. Every time he posts something, I turn back into a fan. I'm like, oh, yes.
Yeah, it's awesome. Hey, we should clear up some
I don't care what he's
chats
saying
before I kick out of here because Lord knows Gary won't do it. White Wolf. Okay, serious question. Devon at any weight, no limits, versus the perfect storm. That's question number one. Number two is Aussie arm wrestler versus Bowen in a death swim match. I don't know what that is.
A death swim. Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Tell
us the rules.
Okay, I just want to say
match.
I already won a swimming contest among arm wrestlers at John Brzenk's house, funnily enough.
That's
John
true.
Brzenk, Lachlan Adair, myself. I did 3 laps underwater. John did 2. Lachlan did 1.5, and his ass came out, and Grant struggled as well. So
I remember that.
if you want to see that Aussie arm wrestler, that's what you got to beat.
I'm a qualified lifeguard.
Oh shit!
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Hey, Uncle John, I thought you were our go-to YouTube super chatter reviewer.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna leave in like 10 minutes, and then you're gonna flounder. So I want to take.
I'm gonna leave in 10 minutes too. I got to get back to my kids. But the Devon John match, that super chat question there from, was it White Wolf? I think it was.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Everyone wants to assume, and I think it's the right thing to assume, that Devon is the favorite. I mean, and he's been consistent. He hasn't taken his foot off the pedal in the sport like John has over the last few years. And he's at a debatable peak, albeit the boxing has taken it down a bit. I think he can quickly return to the peak that he was at. And John, interestingly, did say, let Devon come in at 300 pounds. I'm not scared of him at all. John called Devon slow. John said he could tee off safely into Devon and know that Devon can't get out of the way of that hit. John knows how to control the hand and wrist of Devon in a shape sense. Is John strong enough? That's the only question. Is John strong enough to prevent Devon Larratt from slipping? John's only lost to Devon on one occasion. ARMWARS 2008. They've faced, I think it was about 8 other occasions. The WAL 2015 finals, also in the preliminaries, in the seasonal, in the regionals, John won then, and many tournaments before 2008 and in between. So John Brzenk has a very dominant record over Devon Larratt. He knows the shape that beats Devon. Is John strong enough? Is the only question. And I got to say, the look in John's eye and the enthusiasm that he has, it's enough for me to say, hell yeah, I reckon he can.
Nice.
Beautiful.
I love it. Sap the Bee says, hey, Ryan, please make sure John doesn't get demotivated by drama and trolls. Keep talking with him. I saw some people talk in the chat and they're like, oh, well, John doesn't have trolls. But the legend goes that John Brzenk used to post on a message board called the Northeast Board about 10, 12 years ago, just before I got into the sport. And he would give information, and Engen was there too. And literally, trolls drove them both away.
Yeah, 100%. I think that is a vulnerability that we all need to collectively help John with. I think we need to be the bastions of stability for John and maybe stomp that out when we see it. But because John is like your dad. John's like your granddad who's still learning technology and the internet, and he will take personal offense to comments in there that were just of a trolling nature, I'm sure. And because as we all know on the channel, it takes a long time to get used to that. And John has such a big audience so quickly that inevitably there will be a percentage in there that are going to poke fun.
That's a perfect seg to this. Ryan, tell me if these numbers are unusually good. His first video, 1.3 thousand thumbs up, 3 dislikes. Then 1.7 thousand, 3, 1.35, 4K, 12 thumbs down. Like he's only had between 1 and 20 thumbs down, but thousands of thumbs up. Is that like unheard of? I really don't.
That's why you should ignore trolls.
Yeah, his ratio is, his support will always be grossly positive like that. It just will. But if you also look through the YouTube videos, you'll see John will respond to there'll be some comments in there that are just kind of weird and out of place, but John will respond to it because of I know there's an alluring nature to the weird question that is being asked. And like I've seen him explaining to a flat earther and whatnot how an airplane works. And so I think he will see troll comments and not necessarily recognize that they are troll comments yet, and that is fraught with danger. And yes, we would hate to have John get upset and become demotivated because people have got under his skin. So it'll be a steep learning curve for him in that, but I do think because everyone loves John, there is a community defense system built into that comment section and I'd like to encourage that. And if anyone sees a troll being an asshole, freaking put them in their place quickly.
I mean, if John continues, if he does get paid like well from this, I mean, that's a good buffer, no? I mean,
yeah, that's true. That is true. And like I said, he's doing well. He's doing well already.
Amazing. Eric McCarthy, on that note, Eric McCarthy says, Gary, get John on soon.
Here's the thing. I kind of wanted
Gary, go on John's channel soon. That's also.
Ryan, get me an introduction to John. I don't even care if it's on camera. I just want a meeting. Get me an introduction.
Okay. Deal.
I kind of wanted to talk to Ryan about like behind the scenes of John becoming a creator. You know, I can get the certain bits from John, but I Ryan, before you go, where can John Brzenk go with this?
I honestly see John catching and surpassing Devin's numbers. They have a very similar style of content, but I think John's has got even more depth than Devin's does. Potential. I think that when we talk about width and depth, John's not going to bring in much more width than the sport has to offer. But I think John's depth is greater than anyone else's. And by depth, I mean every arm wrestling fan will want to and will appreciate John's content. So I think that John's depth, his watch time, his revenue as a result of it will be immense. Because at the end of the day, how YouTube delivers its revenue is not so simple. It's not as simple as just views equals money. You'll see channels out there that have millions of views that earn very little, and then channels like John's that don't have millions of views yet are crushing it, and it's because of watch time and like ratio and all those things. And then YouTube puts the highest paying ads on those accounts because YouTube wants the best ads to have the most satisfied viewers. So viewers that are watching John's channel are ticking all the boxes of the algorithm stuff, and subsequently he's getting a very high CPM and he's doing well. So John, where he can go with this, sky's the limit. I genuinely think you'll see John retire from his airline work in the next 12 months and YouTube will be it for him.
No way.
That'd be awesome.
So good.
What?
So good.
100%.
I would just like to remind the audience that quote, John Brzenk says, all I do is sit down and drink some beers. My life is boring. And there's nothing to share. John, I mean, what? I got a couple pieces of advice. I would tell John this. I don't know if he watches this stuff, but if you talk to John first, here's my advice for John Brzenk. Like you were talking about earlier, the stories. John probably has so much that he should journal the stuff so he doesn't forget what he's covering. He should write down in a notebook, like a binder, because he has so much. He's going to forget what he shared, what he hasn't shared.
I said this to Engen as well just yesterday. I said people like Engen and John, and what you've mentioned there is exactly right. I think well-organized playlists with well thought out titles and progressions can be a great archive of amazing stuff that will be timeless content that in 50 years time people will be able to look back and go, oh look, here's the John playlist on all the stories about XYZ or whatever, and they're all logged there, cataloged there perfectly. So I think that I agree with you on that. Organization is key.
Yeah, he's doing such an amazing job. And it's like, think about it, John, when you're no longer with us 50, 100 years from now, because you've decided to do this, arm wrestlers of multiple generations away will be able to get these historical documents from the man. It's like,
unless you live in Australia, then you'll probably be shut down long before that.
Yeah. We won't exist in 10 years as a country.
I went and looked the Chance Shaw 10 Breek. I'm gonna let someone in here. Let's see what happens.
Ram.
Okay. I looked up the Chance Shaw footage. I found 10 different accounts on YouTube with Chance Shaw something or other. It totaled 400,000 views for 10 different videos that were shared. No, that's great. I would like John to know that I have a video that John Brzenk I posted a year ago. It has 200,000 views of this one video, and it required no competitors, no training, nothing. So I don't know if you guys know John Bergerson. He hosted the Professional Arm Wrestling Conference. He was partners with Dave Devoto. They got arm wrestling on television a couple times between 2005 and 2004 and 6-ish. John Bergerson, it was always... What happened?
Oh my goodness.
What happened?
That was whoever you let in. That was what they
got you, beauty.
You didn't
Was
see
it bad?
It was not. It did not fit YouTube's guidelines.
No. Come on. Why do you guys do this to me, man? I'm trying to do something good.
It's just this is what people do. So they do.
Okay. Look, to finish my story, it was important for John Bergerson to always have John at his events. He loved John Brzenk to be at his events. So he'd be like, hey, invite John. And this one day, it was a little tournament, nothing special, no big stars there. But he said, hey, John, will you just arm wrestle some people? And so John hung out, shook hands. And at the end of the night, the first through third, and then I don't even know if it was a pro event. Let's just say amateur with some pros type classes. And they all got to arm wrestle John Brzenk, first through third, all the classes. And then at the end, they had people's kids arm wrestling John Brzenk. And so John, I have 10-minute clip of John just arm wrestling random people. And I titled, John Brzenk arm wrestles everybody, or something like that. And it has 200,000 views. Mm-hmm. I think Vazgen was in there. Oh yeah, Vazgen might've been the best. So like Vazgen and John, it's like, John, this is great. All you gotta do is start showing them at the tournaments again. You don't even have to have some big matches.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, 200,000 views of him just arm wrestling peeps. Like he can make magic out of this business.
He would anything he touches will do better than we can imagine. It really will. It's true. But
so good.
The possibilities are endless. The most important thing I think is that he has fun, which it really you can see that in his voice at the moment when he's making a video. He's genuinely having fun, that's the best thing. That is what will keep him going forward. So I heard him say the other day that he can't wait to get home from work every day now because he wants to get onto YouTube.
What? So cool. Do you think will this trajectory keep going, or is this like a hot pop?
It'll slow. Of course, it'll slow. But I mean, he's got 20,000 subs in 8 days so far.
Only been 8 days.
8 days. 8 days.
Amazing.
20,000 subs in 8 days. It'll slow. It has to slow.
That's so good. So good.
But I don't think it'll slow for a while. Not for a while. I think if we reconvene a month from now, I think we're talking 50K subs on John. Especially if he keeps the content rolling like he is. So
and he's competing as well, I think, which is a huge benefit.
Well,
like joining right at the time of his comeback, I think is just perfect. I think and he's going to take on all these matches.
If John is live for Dimitri, live for Paul, live for RBJ, live for Zoloev, oh my goodness, He's at 200K. So by the time he's pulling Zola.
What? No.
I believe it 100%.
Actually, I'll bet on that right now. I'll happily bet on it. 200K subs by the time he pulls Zola left.
Oh my God. Dude, that would be crazy.
I hope that happens.
John said to me yesterday, all right, I just want to, in terms of, he was talking about earnings potential, and I said, he said, my goal is just to catch you. And I said, John, you already have. You've caught me in a week, John. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, show me your weekly earnings and I'll show you my weekly earnings. And I'm like, see? And he's like, oh shit, look at that. He was going off his weekly versus my monthly. And I'm like, no, you've already caught me, John. Trust me. He will fly up to that.
I just will give you my stats. My paycheck, my deposit from YouTube was $1,700 for the last 30 days. And from what are the numbers I see, and then this is not super chats, but he did my half my numbers in like 10 days.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like in his first 10
on the line, he should, right? He is the GOAT. He is the guy. Like, who else is going to do it, right? It's him.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anyone that can do it, patpeach@gmail.com. Are you a real person? I can't have this.
No, it's not going to work. Hi, Gary. No, it's going to get worse.
You got to learn, Gary. Learn.
Okay. I know you got to go. One more final question. I like that I don't like his last video. Why call out? You're not calling out anybody. Why not have fun with it? Be like, I'm calling all you out. Like, have fun.
He's in control of the conversation for the first time he's been able to. So he's doing what he needs to do to keep that ship going in the direction he wants. So anything he says, half joking, the internet, myself included, will talk about. Especially if he's making mention of pulling Devon, for instance, and things like that. Everyone's going to talk about it. So he's just keeping a rein on it a little bit, and he'll learn. He'll learn his feel. But
John Brzenk, if we want to get Ryan Bowen's prediction of 200,000 views, I believe the best way to do that would be like, hey, why not? Arm wrestlers, all of you, I'm coming after all of you. I'm gonna get all of ya. Like, wouldn't we like that? Like,
we would. Gary,
fun.
I gotta run. I got kids in need, so I gotta run. I was doing all the best. Go and destroy David Bradford for me.
Thank you, brother.
We'll just call the show. We'll call the show. I got some things I got to do. Ozzy, everyone support Ozzy. Go sub to his channel. Ryan Bowen, you've grown on me, man. You've grown on me.
Thank you, man.
You have proven to really have mastered this space, dude. It's amazing. Well done.
We're all going, as Devin says, all ships rise with the tide.
Yeah.
So.
And Uncle John, one favor.
Yes, sir.
If you do find yourself on the losing end, don't lose your energy. Still fight for it. Be hungry. Don't just give up.
You will see something very unique happen at ARMWARS reality show.
All right, guys, I'm out. See you guys.
Everyone in the chat, thank you very guys for supporting all of us. I would like, before you guys go, I would like to let you know that I have done an experiment. Speaking of YouTube stats and all that business, I've done an experiment. For the last 5 or 6 weeks, I have not posted one link on Facebook or Reddit. I haven't advertised YouTube at all. I just have clicked post or put this up, like going live. I wanted to see the difference because I was before spending a lot of time promoting on like 75 different forums on Facebook. And I wanted to see if it made a difference. And the bottom line is my YouTube stats didn't really change. What changed on my regular posts, but we have seen a decrease in viewership on the shows, which I find.
Well, here's my theory. I believe last week was a low viewership, but we had a very different looking thumbnail, right? It was Devin and Thor, and it said, review or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, oh, that'll be cool. It'll shake it up. But I think it might have just screwed things. And I love the one for tonight because it has the classic design, but you added the pictures on top. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I kind of tried to mix it up a little bit. So I kind of thought it'd be interesting. Just I don't know if sharing on all the Facebook, like, does it help? Like, I don't know. Like, Brian must know shit. I don't know anything. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm the same. Sometimes I go out and share everything, and then sometimes I'm just like, you know what? It's on there. People want to watch it.
I've slowed down considerably. I'll
same.
post it on my channel, the Uncle John's Arm Wrestling Show on Facebook, and then like Arm Wrestling Uncensored or something like that. That's really it.
So this weekend, John arm wrestles Brzenk also.
Yeah.
With Dimitri. I reached out to him. He's not a big social media guy.
Dimitri,
like,
I don't know anything about him.
He's like, I kind of don't want to talk until after the match. I was like, so I tried to like get some info. I know nothing.
I don't know either.
What's gonna happen? Texas?
John's
gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, can Dimitri, like, can he give up a good run?
Maybe. That's what people have been saying, that Dimitri is the type of guy that could, but I don't know. John, I mean, I'm just done betting against John, I guess.
Yeah, you don't do that. You do not do
bad
that.
idea. It's just a bad idea.
Dude, I forgot to ask Ryan Bowen. Now John Brzenk's just doing Zoom calls like us. Like, he's gonna kill.
He's in the far future already.
Oh shit, dude.
Hey, just for everybody out there, I will be recording my whole trip, like the whole parts of it. So I'll just be putting out chunks of video. I'll be filming it mostly with my camera. I am gonna bring my nice camera as well, but all of that stuff I'll have to bring back home and edit on my computer. Whereas the phone stuff I can edit on the go and just give you guys the whole scene.
And with that note, film some behind the scenes with the other guys. Like,
for sure.
If you can't do their matches,
we're all staying at the same Airbnb. So
extra content.
You get them all together when you're having a drink, Uncle John, and video call Gary and I, so I can have a beer with the whole ARMWARS crew, because I can't even go to the shops.
Yeah.
Hey, Uncle John.
Yes.
Don't forget, I'll give you a little Gary Roberts secret. Okay. If you want to be as good as me.
Yeah.
Don't forget to get little sound bites from Neil Pickup throughout the day. Like, Neil, what's going on? Neil, what's going on? Neil, what's going on?
Yes.
It's because we love
definitely do it.
We love those moments with Neil. Like, you can get, like, when you're right up close, Neil's just a sound bite here, sound bites there, sound bite there, but then you step back and you add all those sound bites together, you get a really good perspective on how the weekend went, and like, it's timeless. Like,
did you guys see Criggy SATV's promo for ARMWARS that he put out a couple days ago?
I saw the link. I haven't clicked on it.
The promo was great all the way through, but the very last thing is like Neil was filming himself at Giants Live, and he's like, "Ah!" He's just like letting out this yell or something. It's just awesome. It brought the whole thing together. It's magical. Neil is magic.
One more favor.
Yes.
Will you give Neil Pickup a hug for his old friend Gary Roberts?
Sure. I'll get as close to Neil as he wants me to get, and then
I mean, if he won't bro hug you, as close as you can get. But you have to say, this is from Gary Roberts.
All right, I'll do my best. I'm gonna do.
Let him go to bed, Gary. Wrap up the show.
Okay, fine. All right. Good night, guys. Good night.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Love everyone.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
All right. Guys, that's it. Hey, everyone, I want to thank all of you for being here. And can you believe that? John Brzenk. Can you believe what this guy? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He could kill it. He could kill it. He really could. Go get your hugs from someone else. All right, guys. Man, that's it. Good night, peeps.